That all being said, I'm going to get 8 teeth pulled out of my head. So here's my food haul. Coming to you live from the top of my fridge, we've got preparing for tooth extraction weekend. Today is Friday. I'm getting my teeth pulled on Monday. Talked to my oral surgeon. They're going to be taking out both sets of wisdom teeth and both sets of premolars in the same appointment. So they're going to knock me out and extract my teeth. And they said that since I'm 25, the risk of nerve damage in my bottom jaw from extracting wisdom teeth is beginning. My risk is beginning, because past this age, apparently the risk factor goes up until it's very, very likely that I will receive nerve damage. But because I'm 25, it could not. So let me preface with this. I got a lot of, I don't know if you could call it backlash, but I got a lot of people commenting quite passionately, I'll say, talking about how they were misdiagnosed in a very similar circumstance to mine, and that led to tooth extraction that was not the correct procedure for them, which I can appreciate, and I really think that that is a valuable piece of input. However, and I know I'm going to have to show my literal x-rays to prove this, I don't need to prove this to anybody, but I want to for the sake of everything going on and for documentation purposes. So I will insert my x-rays here whenever I'm able to find them. So essentially, my mouth is tiny. And I know people were like, oh, I was diagnosed with that too, but it ended up not being true. No, actually, my mouth is really small. And I know this because my dad's mouth is also really small, and I take after him. And my brother's mouth is really small. And my Meemaw's mouth is very small. And if that wasn't enough evidence, they were showing me my x-ray in the oral surgeon's office. And they showed me that not only were my wisdom teeth still completely buried in the flesh of my gums and jaw, but the teeth that I thought were my wisdom teeth, that I thought were the ones emerging, were actually just the normal teeth that should have emerged a long time ago in the development of an adult mouth. So when we moved all of my teeth forward with my braces, which has created so much space but also pushed my teeth so far forward that they are not supported by the bone anymore, when we pushed all of that forward, it allowed the normal teeth that were supposed to be exposed out to where they could be. And they're not even all completely emerged from the flesh. Meanwhile, the wisdom teeth are still so buried back there that in the x-ray you could see that the teeth were forming cups in my jawbone because they were unable to emerge, and so they were just shooting up and up and up and not able to get out of the bone. So for the sake of my oral health and my bone health, we need to get those wisdom teeth out of there anyway, and even just doing that wouldn't be enough to create enough space for what we need to do, because like I said, the normal molars hadn't even emerged. The last set of normal molars before the wisdom teeth hadn't even emerged until we started doing all of this stretching and moving and making space. And so now they're out there, but that means all the rest of my teeth are so far forward that there is no support from my bone, my jawbone. My tooth wiggled. It wiggled because it could have come out. The front bottom tooth. And I talked about this in a previous video. The same one that I got a lot of people, I say a lot of people, one person in particular, but others had said similar things before it, just not as convincingly as they had. They were talking about it being like a mistake. So, for reference, I think there was a misconception also I'm not a teenager. You might know that because I told you already that I'm 25. But I think in that video I had a cold and people thought that I was a teenager just because my voice was cracking. But I said in that video that I have a cold. But we know that people don't listen with their ears. They listen with their heart. And their heart said, probably, I'm guessing, that I'm a teenager. I'm saying all that to say because they recommended me a palate expander. I'm sure enough to trust somebody to cut into my mouth and do this for me. I trust my team of doctors. I have a lot of people. I've been doing my own research, and I know my own facts about my own mouth. So I can't get a palate expander because I'm 25. The seam that connects my upper jaw is already sealed. And even if it wasn't, my bottom jaw isn't going to move. It doesn't work like that. It's a solid piece of bone. It's going to stay the way it is. So even if we created space on the top with a non-surgical palate expander for an adult, it still wouldn't change the bottom, and the bottom has a lot of problems. It's where the majority of the problems are. So, that all being said, even if I did get a non-surgical palate expander, it might only open on one side, or it might not open at all. I've been over this. I expressed these concerns with my healthcare team. I have talked about this. I've brought it up. I even went to a completely different orthodontist 20 minutes out of town and asked them for what ended up being a third opinion. And they all agree that based on my x-rays and based on my bite, that literally the only thing that can be done is extracting my premolars. And while we're at it, we also need to extract my wisdom teeth for different and related reasons. So, that all being said, very long-winded, very agitated because I already have enough to deal with. Yes, it was my choice to put this online, but also, like, take it easy, guys. Take it easy. You're stressing me out. That all being said, I'm going to get 8 teeth pulled out of my head. So here's my food haul. Instead of getting a ton of broth already pre-made, I'm getting bouillon because it was more cost-effective, and I have more uses for it, and I use this for normal cooking anyway. So this one's the beef, and I've got the chicken one already in the fridge. Tomato paste instead of cream of tomato soup for much the same reason. It's concentrated, so I can just make more as I need it without worrying about space or cost. And yeah, Japanese sweet potatoes. These ones are my favorite because they're a bit sweeter than regular sweet potatoes, and they're a bit sweeter than purple sweet potatoes. Bake these small ones in my toaster oven there, and I won't have to use the big oven. So here's the thing. I don't know if I like butternut squash, but we're going to find out because I'm going to need nutrition. I stole this Nutella from my parents' house because I know that I want breakfast. And last but not least, I got a bunch of bananas and a thing of apple juice for blending up smoothies. Probably used Nutella and a nice ass banana smoothie. So that is my food haul for the weekend leading up to my extraction. Most importantly, I can't have anything with bits in it because those bits could get into the socket and cause an infection. And we want to avoid anything that could cause infection and or remove the blood clots because then I could get a dry socket, and we don't want that because I've heard it's supposed to be incredibly painful, so let's avoid that. 8 teeth at once. It's intense. So I'm going to have 8 active open wounds in my mouth, healing all at the same time. So it's a little more intense than a regular wisdom tooth removal surgery because it will be twice as much. But it is what it is. I've got to get it done. And I got to get it done, most importantly, before insurance runs out at 26. Here we go. This is the Friday before the wisdom tooth and premolar extraction. It's good shit. Sunday night, the night before, it's just about 1 a.m. in the morning. My instructions were to not eat or drink anything past 12 at night, so I have done just that. I just finished brushing and flossing. And so now I'm going to be waking up at 8 a.m., driving over, and then, yeah, I'm gonna be losing 8 teeth out of my head. So hopefully everything goes really, really well. And I can't say I'm not scared and nervous, but it's a necessary part in the process, so here we go. And this is a final check-in of the teeth themselves. That one's going, and that one's going. And then this one, and this one. And then the 4 wisdoms all the way in the back. Yeah. It's the morning of the appointment. It is about 8:20 right now, so we're going to be heading over to the office here in a couple of minutes. I'm nervous, but I'm also probably very much in denial, so it's gonna probably start feeling real once I'm there at the office. We're gonna do our best. And I really, really just want to take a drink of water, but I can't have anything until after the surgery, so gonna have to suffer through for a little bit longer.
You know it's gonna be a good read when you gotta keep it cool.
I forgot to bring a drink.
You know what's better than a drink? Literature.
You brought a fucking cooler bag.
That's awesome.
Well, I also thought maybe you'd have things you needed me to hold, and I would have a place.
So that's planning ahead. There you go.
It'll probably
You can keep the pee cool.
Yeah, you wanna?
Oh my goodness. I didn't hear what you said.
You went for it too.
She was ready. That's so That's a really good note. I had to be, so that's great to hear.
Yeah. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Nice and strong. Good. And then small steps.
There you go.
Scooch in. There you go.
How you feel, sweetie? A little sleepy? Here's your teeth. What do you need? What are you looking for? To lay down? You sure? Okay, here it comes. Yeah, right there? Okay.
Here's your phone. I don't know if you want it right now, but generally
it.
that is the thing.
Good to have
people want.
around. Good to have around.
You got your drugs?
No, we have to go pick up the drugs.
Oh, so this is the end of the first day. I had my premolars and my wisdom teeth pulled all at the same time today. So, yeah, I have taken a variety of drugs today, most recently being an antibiotic and 2 pills for pain, Tylenol and ibuprofen, both at fairly high dose for me. But it's all in the name of being able to sleep tonight and having the pain medicine last the night. Swelling and numbness-wise, like, my feeling in my face just started coming back in the last hour. It's right now about 1 in the morning, and I started my day at 8. The surgery itself was at about 10 a.m. this morning, and I was pretty well out of it. So they told me that I would be twilighting, and it seems like that was pretty much the case, because as soon as the sedation kicked in, and I leaned back in the chair, and it felt like within 10 or 15 minutes they had started, finished, and were wrapping me up in a wheelchair to push me out the front door. With 6 of my 8 teeth, because the 2 that I didn't get, they had to cut out of my head, and so because they cut into the teeth, they became a biohazard, and therefore they weren't allowed to give them to me just on, like, medical policy, I suppose. So, it was a rough beginning of the morning, as you saw in the previous clips. What I didn't show you was me at the Walgreens while my mom went in to get my medication, my prescriptions, and I'm sitting in the car with the ice pack around my face, gauze in my mouth, and I had to about 3 times open up the door while she was in there and just let blood come out of my mouth. And the actual pharmacist who was walking by saw that as I opened the door the 3rd and final time and spat blood out of the car and said, "Ooh, fun." Back over to my parents' place, and I changed out my gauze, and by then for me the bleeding had mostly stopped, and I used a straw to siphon water into my mouth and like held my mouth open and moved it back and forth like that to like sort of flush my mouth, and then pulled the gauze out, did the whole bit. Couldn't feel my face for most of today, and I ate some yogurt in which my mom took this incredibly candid and just sad photo. So I had some yogurt and then rinsed my mouth again, same way. Took some drugs, and then took a nap for about 2 hours before getting up and eating some soft macaroni, having some more drugs. And then I was actually starting to feel pretty good. Just took a little bit of painkillers, put some more ice on my face, and then by the time I got back to my apartment, I was feeling well enough I just cooked dinner. And I made a super, super smooth butternut squash soup, which was pretty good. Never tried butternut squash soup before. Had spinach in it too. Had that, had some ice cream, and then I gave my mouth a little bit of a rinse and took 2 more painkillers and another antibiotic before bed, and now I'm in bed. The only, like, symptom that I am experiencing right now, besides just drowsiness, and that's largely due to a lot of other things, is I've got, like, a weird blood coming back into my wrists, of all places, feeling. Like, it's weird. I don't know where it's coming from or why it is, but yeah, like, it feels like I'm getting that tingling in my wrists. That's not unlike your arm has been asleep and now the tingling is going back. But that also started at the same time about, and I started to get the feeling back into my face and my lip and my tongue. So, I don't know. Hopefully it's non-existent by the time I wake up tomorrow, and that I don't wake up in complete pain. So, yeah, this is teeth extraction, day 1, success. Good morning, world, or good afternoon, depending on where you are. This is day 2. I had the surgery yesterday, and I woke up. I took painkillers last night, as you saw in the previous clip, right before bed, and they carried over into the morning, and so really, I'm not even very tender. I'm just puffy and swollen. I already put some ice on, and I've been taking my drugs and everything, so right now, I'm pretty much fine. I'm actually fixing to clean the apartment here in a bit. We'll see how soon that actually happens. kind of tastes bad. It's got like a cardboard texture. Flavor. So this is the end of day 2. I just gave myself the gentlest toothbrushing ever. Remember this morning when I was like, yeah, I'm gonna probably clean up the house and stuff like that? Yeah, that mostly didn't happen because the cortisol steroid that they have prescribed me basically it wiped me out. It turned me into a vegetable today. I was high as shit, and all I could manage was to lay around, take 2 naps, and watch YouTube videos all day. So my entire day of like trying to do things and be productive went straight out the window. It wasn't even the fun kind of high. I was just weirded out, and I had to climb up and down the stairs on all 4s. I don't recommend it. And I don't want to have to take tomorrow's dose, at least not until later in the day when I don't care if I'm sleepy or not. This is day 3, post-recovery. So I had it done on Monday, and today is Wednesday. I'm on my 3rd smoothie of the day, and I'm working on like a tomato bisque soup. And tomorrow will be my first day back at work. I feel mostly fine. I drove around today. Generally just doing pretty good. But aside from that, still good. This is day 4. I took that dexamethasone last night, and just as expected, it wiped me out. I really wasn't very functional for the rest of the night. I've got a little bit of swelling, but not as much as yesterday, and generally feeling pretty alright. So today's going to be my first day back at work. Got my smoothie. I'll be bringing some smoothies with me because I'm going out pretty far away for work tonight. So this is day 4 of the healing process. Yeah, I'm doing alright. Everything is still as it should be. I'm still on a liquid diet and feeling okay. This is day 5. This will be the last day that I'll be giving updates until it becomes relevant in the future, just because nothing has really changed. My swelling has pretty much gone down. Quick note, I was not ready to drive to work yesterday, an hour in both directions. So day 4 with all the medicine that I've been on, that wasn't very wise, but I'm taking today, Friday, to rest and recover and finish editing this video. And so the next time you'll see me will be when I've been to my orthodontist and they've started to hook me up so we can start closing the space created by the tooth extraction. But yeah, so far so good. This morning I think the pills hadn't really kicked in from yesterday, and so I was a bit sore this morning, but besides that, I've been completely and totally fine. So yeah, got my coffee. Oh, almost choked. But yeah, so this is where I'm going to end this video, and then the next time you see me will probably be in a short or something, where I'm talking about having my orthodontic braces adjusted so that I can start closing this space. So thank you for coming with me this far, and I hope you stay tuned for the rest of the journey, all the way up until getting these things off. So, alright, bye-bye.